Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, He ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed His words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, His beloved Son. And by His word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give Him the stage, because He knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear, I speak truth. I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the Comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell His story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. He opens up to me and shows me His glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth, for Him I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, to the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years He strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking Him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am His ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of His word before me.
Hey, welcome to Tomthebombs Sports Talk, the fastest growing show in the world. It's Monday, September 22nd, and this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, LOVE, love sports and the Word of God on the Tom the Bomb Show. And yes, we are live on Facebook. Our contact number here is 301 655 9992. And if you can catch all the replays immediately after the live show on YouTube at Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. You can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. That's info@tomthebombsports.com. And of course, you can always visit our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, I'd like to personally thank you all for your prayers and your support. We hear you loud and clear, and for everyone that have reached out wanting to contribute to the show and our ministry, of course, we sincerely thank you. With that, we appreciate your patronage, and you can bless us to keep creating content and spreading the word of God. Our business cash app is hashtag $Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. That's $Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. We sincerely thank you, and may God bless you a hundredfold return on the seed that you sow into our ministry. Dr. Lauren and I both really appreciate it at the Tom the Bomb Show. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things that He's already done for us in 2025. And of course, our theme for 2025 is still living in the grace realm. And our foundational scripture for 2012 is found in 2 Corinthians 9 and 8, and that's the Passions Translation. Thank you, Lori. And it says, yes, God is more than ready to overwhelm you with every form of grace, so that you will have more than enough of everything, every moment, and in every way. He will make you overflow with abundance in every good thing that you do. Hey, gang! At VCCI, we're still feeding the people for 50 families designated zip codes and the dates, along with the QR code. You can scan to sign up. We are looking to get up to 100 families pretty soon. Okay, and like I said, the zip codes are. Let me see if I can pull this down just a little bit, Lori. Yeah, can you pull that down just so I can see this? Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's the third Saturday of each month at 11 a.m. And our location at Victory is 7 Metropolitan Court, Gaithersburg, Maryland, 20878. That's our zip code. And it's open to residents of the following zip codes: zip code 20878, 20877, 20879, 20855, and 20882. It's first come, first serve while supplies last. So, like I said, just scan the QR code to register. You can also do on site registration available for all, but all participants must complete a registration form, whether you do it on with the QR code or you do it when you actually come in. All righty. Hey, gang, no trivia question today, but we do have a poll question. And Felix and I are going to talk a little bit about the poll question. But our poll question for today is, who should be the American League MVP this year? Aaron Judge or Cal the Big Dumper Riley? Who should be the American League MVP? Aaron Judge of the Yankees or Cal the Big Dumper Riley of the Marlins? So that's our poll question for today. And like I said, Felix and I are actually going to get into that a little bit later, but that's our poll question. We want to hear from you guys. Chime in on Facebook, YouTube, and let us know what you think. Hey, gang, let's kick it off, man. Look, let's start off. The 2025 Ryder Cup kicks off this week, September 26th to the 28th. That's Friday through Sunday at the Black Course at Bethpage State Park Golf Course on Long Island in New York. Uh, Europe currently holds the cup after winning in 2023 in Rome, Italy. The U.S. holds a 27-15 winning mark. But since the match started, including all of Europe, um, Europe, they basically dominated the U.S. As a matter of fact, Europe has won 10 of the last 14 Ryder Cups. So when I say Europe has dominated, they have the U.S. in the Ryder Cup. Okay, so here's a quick breakdown of the format for you guys who just aren't familiar with it. The first 2 days of a competition consist of four foursomes, or what they call alternate shot matches, and four ball. Okay, or some people call it better ball matches. And that means there'll be 16 points that are available in the first 2 days. Okay. Uh, the It's kind of like alternate shot is it's a team format. So if you and I were together, you would hit the first shot, I would hit the second shot, you would hit the third shot, I would hit the fourth shot, and then it flips on the next hole. That's alternate shot. And then the next moment is best ball, where we both play our balls from the beginning of the hole to the end of the hole, and whichever one of us as teammates has the best score. If I have a 4 and you have a 3, then our score as a team on that hole is a 3. So that's alternate shot and better ball matches, and that's going to be on the first 2 days, and then that leaves to Sunday, the last day, which is really where all the heat comes in. Sunday is the featured 12 single matches, and that's for a total of 28 points. Now, Europe currently holds the Ryder Cup, and so all they have to do is score 14 points to retain the cup, while the U.S., to win the cup, have to have at least 14 and a half points to regain the cup. You'll be able to catch all of the action starting on Friday on the USA Network from 4 a.m. to 3 p.m. with featured matches on Peacock. Okay. The Golf Channel takes over from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then on Saturday, NBC takes over from 4 a.m. to 3 p.m. with featured matches on Peacock again. And then the Golf Channel takes over from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then finally on Sunday, NBC steps in from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the Golf Channel will feature single matches to be determined by the Peacock. Okay. Uh, the European team the European team says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. As they basically returned Luke Donald as their captain, who led Europe to a resounding victory 2 years ago in Rome. And he's basically bringing back the same team with 11 of the 12 players returning from the 2023 roster. Hey, it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. Only Rasmussen Hogard is new. He's replacing, check this out, he's replacing his twin brother, Nicola Hogard. So here's Europe's team. You know, we did a Ryder Cup preview earlier, and I was kind of heavy on the U.S. team. So I promised you guys I would come back with fairness and you know give you something on the European team. So in their number one spot, they have the sacrificial lamb, Rory McIlroy from Northern Ireland. Rory's Ryder Cup record is 16, 13, and 4. 16 mean he's won 16 points. He he's lost 13 points and he's tied 4 points. That's the 16, 13, 4. And Rory is the number 2 ranked player in the world. At number 2, they have Robert McIntyre. Robert McIntyre is from Scotland. His Ryder Cup record is 2-0-1. He's ranked ninth in the world. And you guys know about the ongoing fight between Liv and the PGA Tour. So the world rankings aren't really true rankings because they don't include the live players. Okay. So they've started what they call a data ranking, which is what people just really think. So for example, now Rory is ranked number 2 in the world with the world rankings, and he's also ranked number 2 with the data rankings. But Robert McIntyre is ranked number ninth in the world rankings, but with the data rankings, he's 20th. Okay. So we'll do it like that. Then we have Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood's from England. Tommy Fleetwood's Ryder Cup record is 7-3-2. He's ranked 6th in the world, but 3rd in the data rankings. Then we have Justin Rose. Justin Rose, also from England. His Ryder Cup record is 14-9-3, and he's ranked 14th in the world, but 53rd in the data rankings. Okay. And then Rasmussen Hogart, he's from Denmark. He's a rookie, so he doesn't have a record. This is his first Ryder Cup, but he's ranked 57th in the world, but his data rankings is 50th. Then at number 6 for the European team, there is Tyrrell Hatton. He's also from England. His Ryder Cup record is 5-4-2. He's ranked 25th in the world and 32nd in the data rankings. Then we have Shane Lowry at 7. Shane Lowry's from Ireland. He has a 2-3-1 Ryder Cup record. He's ranked 24th in the world and 39th in the data rankings. At number 8, we have Sepp Straka. Sepp Straka is 1-2 Ryder Cup record. He's ranked 15th in the world, but 36 in the data rankings. And to be frank with you, the data rankings are actually more accurate than the actual world rankings, believe it or not. And then we have Ludwig Aberg. His Ryder Cup record is 2-2. He's ranked 16th in the world and 15th in the data ranking. And at number 10, it's Victor Hovland from Norway. I'm sorry, Ludwig Aberg is from Sweden. I missed that. And Sepp Straka is from Austria. Victor Hovland from Norway. His Ryder Cup record is 3-4-3. He's ranked 11th in the world and 14th in the data rankings. And then Matthew Fitzpatrick. This is the guy that I think the U.S. needs to be picking on. Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's from England. His Ryder Cup record is 1-7. That means in 8 Ryder Cups matches, he's gotten beat 7 times. That's their duck right there. Matthew Fitzpatrick is ranked 29th in the world, but he's ranked 8th in the data ranking. So it's not like he's not a good golfer. That's not what that means. And another thing too, regular golf and Ryder Cup golf is totally different. I mean, Tiger Woods didn't have a great Ryder Cup record, so it's just not always. Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler doesn't have a good Ryder Cup record, so it's different than regular golf. Okay. And then you have John Rahm rounding up the European team. He's from Spain, and he has a 6-3-3. He's a good Ryder Cup player. He ranks. Now, this is where you really in the world rankings, because John Rahm is on the Live Tour. He ranks 73rd in the world, but the data rankings say John Rahm is the 4th best golfer in the world. That's why the data rankings are actually more accurate than the world rankings, because the powers that be are still putting the pressure on these live players, and they don't want to give them world rankings because they play 3 rounds instead of 4 rounds. Come on, man, it's golf, man. You mean to tell me that you think that John Rahm is the 73rd best golfer in the world? You are on drugs if you're telling me that John Rahm is the 73rd best golfer in the world. The data rankings say he's the 4th best golfer in the world. So that's why I wanted to get that out there and let you guys know. Tom the Bomb always trying to give you that inside scoop. Hey, let's move on to our next point in the show. Hey, gang, let's get a quick Major League Baseball update as the as the playoffs fast approach. The playoffs are fast approaching. The New York Mets and the Detroit Tigers continue their late season slides and just might miss the playoffs. The Mets have gone 7-12 in September, while the Tigers, with the best pitcher in all of the American League, are 5-13 in September. They're both in real jeopardy of missing the 2025 Major League postseason. And man, the Mets have spent a ton of money this year. For them not to make the playoffs would be criminal. Remember they gave the kid from the Yankees that $750 million. So the Mets lost 3-2 to Felix's Washington Nationals on Sunday, who have nothing. They have nothing to play for. How are you losing to the Nationals? With that horrible loss, and with the Cincinnati Reds 1-0 victory win over the Chicago Cubs, the two teams are now tied for the third and final wild card playoff berth in the National League at 80 and 76 apiece. Now, Cincinnati wins the tiebreaker if they finish the season tied because the Reds won the season series over the Mets 4-2. So if they stay tied, then Cincinnati makes the playoffs and the Metropolitans are going to be at home. The Mets finished the season with a 6-game road trip against the Chicago Cubs and the Miami Marlins, while the Reds finish up with the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Brew Crew, the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, to close out their regular season. While the Tigers are hanging on for dear life to a 1-game lead atop the American League Central. Check this out. On July 8th, the Tigers had a 15.5-game lead in the American League Central. Now it's dwindled down to 1 game with 6 to go ahead of the Cleveland Guardians. Because of the strength of the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Astros, the Tigers they're pretty much going to have to win the American League Central to make the playoffs. After losing to the Braves 6-2 on Sunday, who also had nothing to play for, and on top of that, they got swept at home by the Braves in that series. They're still in first place, but it seems like the sky is falling. The sky is falling. It hit me in the head. That's what's going on in Detroit. The Guardians lost on Sunday to the Twins 6-2, ending their 10-game winning streak. But the Guardians are currently 16-5 in September. So the Guardians are hot at the right time, and the Tigers are picking the wrong time to be cold. I know we're getting ready to change seasons, but they're picking the wrong time to get cold. So in other Major League Baseball news, Al, the big dumper Riley, banged out homer number 58 as he creeps toward the American League home run record held by Aaron Judge at 62. The big dumper is red hot, and he must be butter because he is on a roll, man. The big dumper is bringing it. Also, in Major League Baseball update, Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw has officially announced that he is officially retiring at the end of the season. He's a first ballot lock for the Hall of Fame. First ballot lock. You can't tell guys when to quit, but he probably was done last year. But hey, you know what? The Dodgers won the World Series last year, and Tom the Bomb picked them for this year as well. Why not go out a 2-time winner? You know what I mean? Hey, I ain't mad at you for that, Clay. When you're a Hall of Famer like he is, when you're the best pitcher in baseball for 10 straight years, which is what Clayton Kershaw was, he can do what he wants. He can do what he wants. So, congratulations to a fantastic career. We'll see what Felix has to say about that on the other end. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and take a commercial break, and then we'll be back with the NFL Week 3 and our predictions in Week 4 and the best 5 country minutes in sports with my main man, Felix Bassi. We'll be right back.
Window Nation is on the Morgan's home turf to huddle up about replacing their drafty old windows.
This free estimate is showing how easy it is to tackle the problem.
We can get any of these windows custom made.
Yes, you can get the quality and style you really want.
And at a more affordable price than they ever imagined.
Now that they've sealed the deal, they'll be saving money year-round.
We're really confident with Window Nation.
Get your free estimate today and get 60% off all windows plus no interest or payments for 24 months at getwindownation.com.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and satiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
All righty, and we're back. Hey, welcome to the show, Mr. Felix Bassey. How you doing, Felix?
Doing all right. How are you?
Let's jump right into it. Week 3 in the NFL, and let's start off with your Washington Commanders versus the Las Vegas Raiders. The Commanders come in with a resounding victory, 41-24, without star quarterback Jaden Daniels. Felix, let us know how you feel about your team now, man.
First off, I knew the Commanders could do this, but the fact of the matter is, I was pleasantly surprised that the Commanders did this in dominating blowout fashion, and it just goes back to the team being more than just Jaden Daniels. You saw the running game being dominant, having about, I think by the time it was halftime, the Commanders already had 200 yards on the ground, about 200 yards on the ground. Special teams, you had the kick return that almost came for a touchdown, punt return for a touchdown. Defense had 5 sacks. Everything was clicking in all cylinders, and Marcus Mariota didn't really have much to do. And really, when it was his time to shine, he did just that. He had that explosive pass to McLaurin that was almost a touchdown, and Luke McCaffrey getting his first career touchdown. Congrats to him. And I hope to see more out of Luke McCaffrey because he had the best separation rate in football, but he was just underutilized. But I really hope what we saw on Sunday might be an aha moment and the team might realize, hey, we probably want to use him more in the offensive repertoire. Then the only critique I would have, well, this sounds crazy that I'd critique anything after an almost perfect game.
Of course you will.
Of course.
That's why you make the big bucks. That's what we pay you for.
Only critique I would have is the fact that I saw some questionable coverage schemes out of the defense. I understand that we're working zone, but I don't like the fact that we're over-reliant on linebackers to the point that we have linebackers covering receivers in zone, and it's not even a one-off thing. It's really something that's not supposed to be happening. You're supposed to match your number of defensive backs to your number of receivers to avoid that very thing from happening. But that's something that I noticed. We got blown up on 2 plays because of it. But overall, the pass rush overcame it. I just don't want to see that being regularly done against a team that could take advantage of it, such as, say, the Packers.
Well, listen, Felix, I just want to let you know right now you're on lettuce, but pretty soon you're going to be on fries. And that's when the big bucks start rolling in. Hey, listen, remember in the offseason, we talked about how important it was to re-sign Marcus Mariota?
Right.
And Lauren, Dr. Lauren was saying, you really do kind of need 2 quarterbacks. I said, yeah, with the season being so long, but more important, we talked about how they need to be interchangeable, how their skills need to be compatible, and not just their skills, but they need to be compatible off the field as well. And these 2 guys seem to mesh really well. They're the second tandem of Heisman quarterbacks, with your starter and your backup with Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota. Felix, tell me who the other 2 Heisman quarterbacks in the backfield for one team was. Tell me who the other 2 were.
2 current or all time?
No, just the most recent. Lamar Jackson and RG me.
Yep.
So talking about. But yeah, that's it. And I was just mentioning Lauren. I think that Marcus Mariota is actually even a better runner than Jaden Daniels. He's not faster than Jaden Daniels, but he's a good. I mean, Marcus Mariota could have been a running back, you know. So when he pulls that ball down and takes off, man, he's a real threat. So they don't lose a whole lot. He's not as good a passer as Jaden Daniels, but they don't lose a whole lot. And what do you think about this, Felix? I'd sit Jaden for another week. What's your thoughts on that?
Mm,
What's your thoughts on
I
that?
don't know about that.
Okay, all right. I'd sit him for another week, man. Listen, man, they didn't miss a beat. They did. Come on, man. 41. You know, they didn't miss a beat. I'd sit him again. You know, or at the very least, they're going to have to make sure that he's totally 100% healthy before they bring him back. And if he's not, there's no reason not to let Mariota play. You know, even if he could, even if Jaden can dress next week, I'm not starting him, man. You know, I'm bringing make him be second string. You know, and if things aren't going well, you can always go to Jaden Daniels as a boost. But not that Marcus Mariota is going to move Jaden Daniels out of his position. But I'm telling you, I'd be with. Nate says Marcus Mariota has to learn to slide. Yeah, we had that trouble with RG me as well. But yeah, I thought your team looked really good. The running game was great, man. You know, you hit a hiccup in the road. You lost to a good team in Green Bay. It's just a bump in, or just a speed bump in the road. That's all. You know, when it's all said and done, your Commanders will be 12-4, 13-3. That's what I see.
Mhm.
That's what I see. Let's move on to our next game. We have the Los Angeles Rams versus Dwayne Taylor's Philadelphia Eagles. And man, I watched all of this game, and we talked about how we felt like that the Rams, without the snow, had a chance to beat Philadelphia last year in the playoffs, and they did have a chance. And man, they dominated this game for 3 quarters. They dominated this game for 3 quarters. And man, the Eagles just came back and did what they needed to do, man. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about that uh, that Hurts' biggest attribute is his leadership ability, and I love Jalen Hurts because whatever he needs to do, he does. You know, he'll finish a game with 147 yards passing and maybe one or two touchdowns, and you'll think, well, he didn't have a great game. Man, that guy does whatever it takes for them to win, and I, I can't believe you know special teams is a critical part of the game. And how do you let the Eagles block 2 field goals? 2 field goals, man. They had them beat. What's your thoughts on this game, man?
Honestly speaking, number one, it highlights what I did say about the Eagles. They're a talented team, but at the same time, you can beat them. You can get them. And quite frankly, the Rams, again, it's one thing to have a game in which the Rams, okay, they're leading against the Eagles. No one said the Rams were a bad team, of course. So it's not so much the Rams were leading against the Eagles or even dominating. It's the fact that the Eagles, they didn't get out the starting gate until a certain point. Not to mention, I have to be honest, the Rams outplayed the Eagles. So
They absolutely
in
outplayed
reality,
them and should have beat
it
them.
was really it was really two completely rare plays, two blocked. Here's the thing, a block is so rare. It's almost not supposed to happen.
It's
You
not.
had that happen twice,
Yeah.
and they needed it to happen twice for them to win.
Mhm.
So honestly, I think it speaks to a weak spot in the Eagles, and even I'd say for the Rams, they're a team that's a lot they're somewhat better than what people expect, than what people realize. I'll say.
Well, I don't think people are sleeping on the Rams because, like I said, they were right there. If you think about the Eagles' run through the playoffs and through the Super Bowl, the only real game they had was against the Rams. And if that game's not in the snow, I think it's a different outcome. But hey, man, listen, man, the champs, when you're good, you win games like this, man. And the Eagles, what's really great about the Eagles is they can beat you in a number of different ways. They can ground and pound with Saquon Barkley. If you and people think that Jalen Hurts is not a great passer and can't pass. We proved that wrong against the Rams. It's just for the most part, the Eagles usually aren't behind like that. But man, when they got behind in that second half, he turned AJ Brown and the Slim Reaper loose on them Rams, and they couldn't do nothing with him, man. This is a tough team, man. I think, Felix, you just said, I think the Eagles can be beat. You know what? To me, that's like saying, I think Bud Crawford could be beat. until you get in the ring with Bud Crawford. Okay. Listen, man, don't be sleeping on the Eagles, man. They could repeat. They could do it. They have the talent and the team to repeat. I don't think they're going to go undefeated. I don't think they're going to win all their games. But to me, they are the cream of the crop in the NFC. And until somebody knocks them off, you got to take the Eagles. And when we get to our predictions, I'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's my thoughts. Last word on the Eagles and the Rams, Felix.
That's pretty much all.
All righty. Let's move on to the next game. The Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Now, listen, I have to apologize on this one because I told all you guys that this was a bye, uh, that they didn't even need to play this game. But you know what? Felix, I just totally overlooked and forgot the fact that this is an interconference game, and these interconference games, these teams know each other so well. They know how to play. And Buffalo could be the best team in the AFC, but because they're in the same division as the Dolphins know how to play Buffalo. And I'm telling you, man, the Dolphins had a chance to win this game, 21-31 versus the Bills. What was your take on it?
Well, this is a game, in all honesty, I knew that the Dolphins, they're better than what they were week one for sure. And the second week, I kind of saw more of that activity from them. I saw more life out of them than really. I feel like it came out. They really played to their fullest potential week three. Only problem is that it was against Buffalo. That was the thing. So, in all honesty, great game by the Dolphins, but in the end of the day, they just ran the Buffalo, and that was it was really as simple as that. The Bills just played Buffalo Bills football, and that was insurmountable for them.
Yeah, Buffalo. What is it? Buffalo. What do they call them, Lori? Buffalo Mafia.
The Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia. Right. All right. Let's move on to our next game. The Cincinnati Bengals versus the Minnesota Vikings. Man, the Vikings opened up a can, and hello world. Introduce you to Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers did something that hadn't been done but only twice in the NFL. He had 2 defensive touchdowns of 50 yards or longer. Man, this kid played an unbelievable. He had a pick six, and then he stripped a guy and ran it back for a touchdown. And then he played an unbelievable game, man. The Vikings drilled the Bengals 48-10. Listen, man, we talked about the backup for the Bengals, man, but I'm going to tell you, man, you're not going far without Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Their season's done if he's done. Their season's done. What was your take on this game?
Bengals and Vikings. That game was brutal, and for the Bengals, and I'd say this for the Vikings. A lot of people forget, even though they were so in the last 2 weeks, especially the week one, you saw the strength of their team, but week two, you definitely saw how the weaknesses in their offense. People forget one of the hallmarks of their team was their defense, and their defense showed up against the Bengals in that one. So again, people have to remember, even though JJ McCarthy's there, the Vikings defense is still a threat. And also people forget Carson Wentz. He's not exactly the elite player we thought he was in 2016 up until 2017. He's still a good player, no matter what. And
he knows how to manage the game too.
I'm sorry?
He knows how to manage the game.
Exactly. So when there's a good team around Carson Wentz, good offensive line, things happen.
Hey, let's close out on this. Here's a little old time trivia. This might be before you, Felix. One of the last guys to do what Isaiah Rodgers did was Brig Owens. You probably don't do.
Washington, yeah.
You know who Brig Owens?
He played with us during Super Bowl VII.
He did. All right, Felix.
Perfect Miami Dolphins.
He get nothing past when it comes to the skin with the Felix. Yeah, Brig Owens is the last defensive player to do that for our team with the two touchdowns of 50 yards or more. Brig Owens. That's going way back.
Was that the November 27th, 1966 game against New York? Am I wrong?
He's showing off now.
I could be wrong. Was it a fumble or interception?
Yeah, you're showing off now. That's right. You're moving from lettuce to fries, my friend. Our next game was the Houston Texans versus the Jaguars, and the Jags won this 17-10. And I want to talk a little bit about the Texans real quick, man. It's just unbelievable that they won't do something to help C.J. Stroud with that offensive line. Caleb Williams led the NFL last year. He got sacked 68 times, which is crazy. But C.J. Stroud was number 2 with 52, sacked 52 times. Man, it's hard to quarterback when you're on your back that often, man. And they just haven't addressed this. The Jags got a good win. I still think Trevor Lawrence is holding the Jaguars back. He did enough for him to get the win. But as poorly as the Texans played, they still had a shot in this game. But they're not going to do, man. Their offense is putrid, man. What was your take on this game?
Yes, it was. It goes back to the problem that I've noticed with the Texans. They're a good team. They have potential. They can do things, but it's just a matter of if they will or not. And the thing is, I looked at what they did against the Buccaneers. That was also a slow game, and I'm thinking to myself, you guys came very close to being a very good Buccaneers team. Then
Right.
it falls apart at the end of the game, and I'm
Right.
thinking, hey, you guys go up against a weaker Jags team. This is where you blow up. This is where you do what you do, and that's just not how it panned out.
Well, the Jags, I'm not willing to call the Jags a weak team, but I don't think the Jags are good as the Buccaneers, as you said, though. But I'm not willing to call the Jags a weak team. They have a good defense too. They're like I said, their kryptonite, the Jags' kryptonite is at quarterback. But that's their thing. Hey, let's move on to the next game. Who would have thought that the Indianapolis Colts would be 3-0? They opened up a can on the Titans 41-20. And man, you know what, man? I am officially changing my nickname for Daniel Jones from Danny Dimes to Indiana Jones, man, because he's got it going on in Indianapolis, man. I say this all the time, man. If you get a quarterback in the wrong system, he's going to look like a bum. But you get him in the right system, and all of a sudden, Daniel Jones is playing as good quarterback as anybody in the NFL. What was your take on this game?
So I would say that again, Daniel Jones, he had without exaggerating, he's had a historic start
Yes.
to his season. And the
Yes.
fact of the matter is, I knew he was capable of this. So again, it's another case of you put a talented quarterback in the right situation, good things happen. And let's not forget about what the Jonathan Taylor, I feel like people stopped talking about him after his rookie season.
Good point.
He still had an
Great
impact
point.
out there.
Great
The
point.
defense is doing its own thing,
Mhm.
but I'm not saying that to take the attention off of Daniel Jones, of course. So I think what the thing is with the Colts, they were always a good team,
Mhm.
but they just needed that last bit in there, which is the quarterback.
They haven't had a
And
quarterback yet. Right.
conversely,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
exactly. And conversely, you had Daniel Jones,
Right.
who was always a talented player. He just needed a better team around him. So they just complement each other so well, and you're watching the product of it.
Well, you know what, Felix? I wasn't sold on him as being a good quarterback, but I'm gonna tell you, the Manning brothers both were high on him. The Manning brothers, kind of brought this guy up and tutored him, so they were very high on him. And I'd be willing to say that Peyton and Eli Manning know more about quarterbacking than Tom the Bomb. I would be willing to say that. Okay,
Right.
so they were high on him, but yeah, man, he looks good. Man, the Colts look for real. But the other thing too, Felix, is a running game is every quarterback's best friend. And with Jonathan Taylor having the year that he's having, that's helping Indiana Jones out as well. Let's move on to our next game. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Panthers. This was ridiculous. There's no way the Atlanta Falcons are supposed to lose 30-0 to the Panthers. But on any given Sunday, these guys are still professionals. They are still professionals. But come on, man. To me, Atlanta had to be overlooking somebody to lose 30-0 to the Panthers. What's your take on this one?
I would say this game was a complete surprise. Honestly speaking,
This was one of my L's. I had the Falcons in this one.
so did I. And
Yeah.
honestly speaking, the Falcons, solid team. They have decent QB play. I mean, really, it just fell apart there. I mean, honestly speaking, the Panthers, they do have some strengths in there, but they're not really a team that does that. They're not really a team that beats you 30-0 under any circumstances. The
Exactly.
Falcons,
Exactly. Not 30-0, man. Not 30-0. They're not supposed to lose. No. Yeah, they overlooked them, man.
yeah,
They definitely overlooked them. Look, let's get to the next one because this was another L that I had. The Pittsburgh Steelers 21, the New England Patriots 14. I had the Patriots in this one, man, and I was right. I was absolutely right, man. The Patriots threw this game, man. 5 turnovers, 2 turnovers going into the end zone. Listen, man, the Steelers. I love Mike Tomlin, and I love the way he coaches. But the Steelers are winning with smoke and mirrors, man. You say, well, they had 5 turnovers, they had 5 sacks, the defense showed up. No, 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 no. This was all the Patriots let the air out of their tire. The Patriots should have won this game easily. What's your take on this game, Steelers and Patriots?
Honestly speaking, the Steelers, people forget about that defensive factor that they have in there. Now, I do understand that 5 turnovers at that point, that's a little beyond a solid defense. I will say that. But at the same time, I think it exposes some things with the Steelers. Again, taking nothing from the team, but they might not be as good as we all thought after week one, seeing the circumstances by which they won this one, and definitely after the game last week.
The Steelers could very easily be 1-2 instead of 2-1.
Yes.
And that's I think it should be a real concern. And listen, you're not going to win in the NFL with 5 turnovers. You're not going to win in the NFL with 5 turnovers. That's not going to happen. Let's get to the next game. The unbeatable Green Bay Packers took on the Cleveland Browns and lost 13-10. And we talked about this game, and we both took the Packers. But I told you guys that Cleveland had a defense. Man, they're the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL. They're the number 1 ranked team against the rush. Listen, they lost to the Ravens like 41-14, but they held King Henry to 33 yards rushing. 33 yards rushing. So coming into this game, it should have told you something about what their defense was like. And then they turned around and held Josh Jacobs to 35 yards rushing. That's King Henry and Josh Jacobs back to back, and you held them both under 70 yards rushing combined. That ain't no fluke, man. That's no fluke, Felix. That's a good defense they got in Cleveland. They just can't get the ball in the end zone. And let me just ask you this real quick. Felix, do you think that Baker Mayfield is the better quarterback than anybody on the Cleveland Browns roster?
Better quarterback than any quarterback on the Browns?
On the Browns roster.
Yeah.
Well, they drafted him number 1. They had Baker Mayfield. You put Baker Mayfield on this Cleveland Browns team, and I think that's the winner of that division, man. What was your take on this game? I think the Packers kind of overlook them. I think Love had a bad game. What's your take on the Packers and the Browns?
I'd say that, but at the same time, I would definitely say that. I mean, because the thing is, I can't 100% say it's all the Browns' defense. The Browns' defense is great and all, but I watched the Commanders game. We blitzed Jordan Love, and I saw them counter the blitz, and I saw them. So it goes beyond just them. It goes beyond the Browns just having, say, a strong defense, because the Packers can counter blitzes. They have a certain way of going around it. So yes, I do think that they overlooked the Browns, and it's just one of those games that they underestimate their opponent.
Wait a minute now, Felix. Don't get it twisted. The Commanders' defense is not better than the Cleveland Browns' defense. The Commanders' defense is greatly improved, but they're not better than the Cleveland Browns' defense. Oh no, no, oh no, nay, nay. Come on, man. King Henry and Josh Jacob, and you hold them both combined to under 70 yards. That ain't with smoke and mirrors, man. Football is such a simple game, man. It's the offensive line and the defensive line. Whichever line is the best, that's usually the team that's going to win. That defensive line that the Browns have is no joke, man. It's no joke. This was a great win, and like I said earlier, on any given Sunday, I think the Packers overlooked them. But they had a plan until Cleveland punched them in the mouth. Hey, the Packers was winning this game 10-0 with 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. They were winning this game 10-0 with 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, and they lost 13-10. Great game for the Browns, bad game for the Packers. It happens. Move on. All right, our next game was the New York Jets versus the Buccaneers, and surprisingly, this was one of the best games of the day, man. Buccaneers 29, the Jets 27. It was exciting. The Jets made a great play with a block kick, another block kick, Felix, and returned it for a touchdown to go up. And they left 1 minute and 54 seconds left on the clock. And I looked straight at Dr. Lauren, and I said, that's too much time for Tom Brady. And she said, "What?" I said, "That's too much time for Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is going to win this game. Man, Baker ain't no joke, Felix. What was your take on this game?"
Right. I would say that was first off the fact that the Jets can go toe to toe with the Buccaneers. I looked at the Jets' first game against the Steelers.
Mhm.
The Jets have come a long way on offense. I
They have.
just wanted to say that they've come a long way on offense.
Mhm.
And secondly, going back to the thing with the Buccaneers, it just shows that they're beyond just a good team. They're also clutch. This is the second, at least the second consecutive week. I think they
Three
had
weeks,
one or
3 weeks,
two
3 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a
three
row.
consecutive weeks
3 weeks they've won with the last minute in the last minute of the game. 3 weeks in a row.
right, because the Falcons game 3 straight weeks.
3 straight
So
weeks.
they're clutch and they're talented, but they're also clutch. That's the thing.
That's quarterbacking,
And
man.
that's what'll save you in late season type
Yep.
games, playoff games. So the Buccaneers are more of a threat than what people realize.
Nat Wood said they were a playoff team last year. They're a playoff team this year, man. That's a scary team. They've got some big injuries. We're going to get into week 4, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But great game. I agree. The Jets, the new head coach for the Jets, he inherited a mess in New York. So it's not going to turn around immediately, but I already like what I've seen, and I think the Jets are going to be fine. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Broncos and the Chargers, and this was going to be another tough game. Tom the Bomb took the Chargers. The Chargers prevailed 23-20. What was your take on this game, man?
So it was another game with the Chargers dominate. By the way, they've beaten every single opponent in their division so far. Like it's odd to have 3 consecutive weeks with 3 consecutive divisional games, but they've already ensured that they won't be swept at any point this regular season. But at the same time, I don't want to get ahead of myself and start talking about their division right now, but I think the Chargers, they're as good as or maybe better than we're expecting them heading into this week. And the Broncos, again, good team, but I honestly think they're the same Broncos team we've come to know.
You know what? I think this is just 2 good teams. The Broncos could have very easily won this game. Jim Harbaugh's doing a fantastic job with the Broncos. He can coach, man. He usually burns himself out, but there's no doubt that Jim Harbaugh can coach. There's no doubt that he can coach. I think at some point he kind of starts to rub you the wrong way, but there's no doubt that this guy can coach. And his MO is he comes into bad teams and he turns them around immediately. And he's done that every place that he's went. Turn them around immediately. I saw him do it with the Niners. I saw him do it at Stanford. He did it at Michigan. I knew he was going to do this with the Chargers, and he's done a fantastic job. You got to give him his props. All right, our next game was the New Orleans Saints versus the Seattle Seahawks. And, the Seahawks opened up a can 44-13. And I was so pleased that my 49ers beat the Seahawks in week 1 because this is still the team that scares me in the West, the Seahawks. Sam Darnold looks good. They got a running game. They got a defense. They got a solid coach. Seahawks look good. What was your take on this one?
Seahawks with yet another surprising game, and this one was an absolute blowout against the New Orleans Saints. So, of course, what I will say, again, it's too early to say very much because we did see New Orleans get off to an explosive start just like this last year. A lot of people forgot about that. But again, there's something, and you said it yourself. You said the Seattle Seahawks have certain strengths that a lot of people overlook because they're not observing them as closely as you would, being a fan of the team in that division. So,
yeah, it's a good football team.
New Orleans, no news here. They have a lot to look at.
Yeah. You know what? They messed up when they didn't take Shedeur Sanders in the draft. The Saints are having quarterback, and I hope they go to quarterback purgatory for not taking Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be a New Orleans Saints. That's where Shedeur Sanders was supposed to be. So they're getting what they deserve. They're reaping what they sowed. Let's move on to our next game. The Dallas Cowgirls. I can call them this now. The Dallas Cowgirls against the Bears. And I can't believe I actually took the Cowgirls, and the Bears opened up a can 31-14. The new coach for the Bears, Ben, he kept saying, listen, this guy is going to, he improved from week 1 to week 2. He's going to improve from week 2 to week 3. And we did. We saw great proven out of Caleb Williams his best game as a pro. They dominated the Cowboys, but the writing was on the wall when you watched Russell Wilson pass for 450 yards and put up 40 points on the Cowboys. The Giants weren't that good. The Cowboys defense is that bad. What's your take on this game?
Right. I would say for this game, number one, yes, the Cowboys defense was terrible. And I've seen this. This has been a reoccurring thing. Every single week, I've seen every single Cowboys opponent advance the ball downfield at will. And it's to the point that, yes, I do understand that the Giants do have talent on their offense. But the Cowboys, when they're going up against the Giants, the way I thought the Giants would have had it, I thought that Sunday night game would have been completely different. So there's that. I mean, there's that, and I'll have to mention the Cowboys. I saw them put together some good drives, but they just couldn't close them, and that's part of why it was just a complete blowout. You can't put finished drives, and your defense can't stop opposing offenses for anything. You're making every offense to go up against look like a Pro Bowl team. So I really don't know what to say. A Pro Bowl before it became flag football, I should say. So I don't know what to say.
Well, Jerry said that we're going to be a better defensive team without Micah because we're going to turn that one player into six players, and we're going to be better defensively eventually. But you know what? His lips were moving. So because his lips were moving, that means he wasn't telling the truth. So, hey, it is what it is. This is going to be
One
another
last
fun
thing.
year with the Cowboys.
Jerry can definitely build a championship team, but he did that for Green Bay and not for Dallas. That's the mistake he made.
The people in Green Bay are loving Jerry Jones. But matter of fact, the week of that trade, and they opened up against the Eagles, and all the Eagle fans were teasing him, saying, "You're doing a great job, Jerry. You're the GM of the year. Keep doing what you're doing, Jerry." Man, them Eagle fans they something, boy. Let's move on to our next game. We had the Arizona Cardinals against my San Francisco 49ers. And man, breaking news, man. My 49ers are 3-0 in first place, and everybody is injured. I told you that the water boy had an ACL, didn't I? Didn't I tell you that?
Yeah.
That the water boy had an ACL? Well, we just lost our all-pro Nick Bosa for the whole season. He has an ACL. So, our starting quarterback is out. Our all-pro tight end is out. Our defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa's gone for the season. And we're 3-0 in first place. And just like you said, we beat the top two team. Well, not the top. Well, we could still got to deal with the Rams. But we've already beat Arizona. We've already beat Seattle. And we got the Rams coming up. And 49ers are 3-0. Man, this could be his best coaching year if he can do something with this team with all of these injuries, man. Uh, 16-15, impressive win with all the injuries. It's next man up in San Francisco, and they're getting it done. What was your take on this one, Felix?
I would say that this is another game in which the 49ers they did a good job managing it so that their offense didn't have to do too much to seal the deal. Of course, the Cardinals, not one of the elite teams in the NFL, but they're not an easy offense to do that to. They're not an easy offense to just stymie, limit down to 13 points. They're a lot better than what people realize. So again, it speaks to the defense of the 49ers, but at the same time, it reminds me of the time before Washington. Look at how I'm talking now. Before Washington had a strong offense, we'd stay in the game with defense, and the offense would just have to not mess up, don't turn the ball over, and that's that.
Hey man, both of these teams were 2-0. I can't let you call the Arizona Cardinals weak because they were 2-0. And
I can say weak.
and okay, all right. So or even imply that because I told you Kyler Murray gives the 49ers fits in this game. He always scares me because we don't do well against running mobile quarterbacks. So this was a big win, especially with all of the injuries and now losing Nick Bosa. We'll see what they heart pumping in San Francisco, if it's Kool-Aid or if it's blood. All right, let's move on to our next game. We have Mother Wigs, Kansas City Chiefs versus the G-Men. Watch this game last night. The Chiefs win 22-9. They get the victory. They were 0-2. They get their first win. They just needed to get a win. The Giants could have very well won this game. I watched this game in shock, and the Giants could have won this game. What's your take on this one?
Like I said, I expected more from the Giants giving their output against the Cowboys last week, but the same time, I saw those mistakes from the Giants. Now, I will say this. I did question the Giants going for it so often in this game, but their kicker was injured. And that's a really big thing. Like having a kicker injured or conditions that aren't friendly for kicking the ball, that can alter the result of the game. But at the same time, they can't rest on that because at the same time, with the healthy kicker, you don't win games by kicking just field goals, especially against the Chiefs. I've said what I've said about them this season, but you're not going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs with field goals in any game. So the Giants have a lot to work on.
This game was interesting, man. I saw a lot of, there was this one play where Mahomes throws the ball backwards into the ground. It's a backwards pass, which means it's a lateral, and Pacheco feels it, and then he throws it away, and that was a fumble, and they let them get away with that. And then, my amazement, the exact same thing happened later on in the game, and everybody reacted to it like it was a fumble this time. And Mahomes made a heck of a play to take the ball out of the Giants' hands. That was a huge play. I think that's a momentum turn. If he takes that in for 6, I think they could have beat Mother Wiggs, Kansas City Chiefs. I'm really disappointed with Russell Wilson, man. I'm just about ready to see the rookie. I mean, if I can just go back to the Dallas game where he had the 450 yards passing and it looked like the old Russ, and then they got into the overtime and he just threw the ball up for grabs. He did that in this game against the Chiefs, and he's just it seems to me like he doesn't want to take the check down throws and just keeps the chains moving. And when Russell Wilson was on a arc to be a Hall of Famer, that's what he did well. He moved the chains. He ran. I don't see him running anymore. He hardly ever runs, and he just doesn't want to take the check down. And I was really disappointed in his play. As a veteran, I really expected him to be a better manager of the game. And if he's going to continue to play like this, I'm ready to see Jackson Dart, man. What's your thoughts on that, Felix?
I would say that at this point, definitely. I would say at this point they should definitely, start considering. I agree.
Well, the clock is ticking. It's a matter of time. Everybody knows it's coming. What I suspect they're going to do is, the Giants have a pretty brutal schedule. I think they're going to stick with Russell and let him get beat up with these really tough teams, and then try to work him back in as the schedule starts to soften up for the Giants. I think that's what they're going to do to try to set him up for success and not failure. That's what I think is going to happen. All right, let's get to our picks for the week. Like I said, Tom the Bomb was 12-4. Felix, you were 10-6. Okay, that's okay. You're coming up. You're about to get on fries. Let's let's get to the Monday night game, boy. Get your popcorn ready. Woo, woo, woo. We got a smoker tonight. We have the Detroit Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm letting you go first because I don't know who I want to take in this game, so I'm letting you go first, Felix.
Taking the Lions, that's the relatively safe pick. I'm not sure if there's such a thing in this game.
Okay, you're taking the Lions. Man, I really think of it. You know what? I'm going to take the Ravens just to go opposite of you, but I think the Lions going to win too. But I'm officially taking the Ravens, 8:15 p.m. on ESPN. Felix is taking the Lions. Tom the Bomb is taking the Ravens. Here's the thing with the Ravens. I think the Ravens can only beat themselves. I don't really think teams can beat the Ravens. If you beat the Ravens, it's because they beat themselves. They did something stupid like fumbling or throwing an interception, or they beat themselves. They still don't have the discipline that I'd like to see the Ravens have. But from a talent stand wise, it'll be interesting because the Lions offense is so potent. It's so potent, man. It's lethal potent. But I'm going to take the Ravens. So Felix got the Lions. Tom the Bomb has the Ravens. All righty, let's get to next week Thursday night game, September 25th at 8:15 p.m. We have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be a good football game. And Tom the Bomb is going to take the Seahawks because I know how good they are. But this is an interconference game, and the Cardinals play the Seahawks as good as anybody. So this game's going to be close, but I'm taking the Seahawks. Who do you like, Felix?
Seahawks, but this is a very difficult game to call. It could go either way, but the Seahawks are again a safe pick.
All righty. Let's get to our next game. Our next game is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tom the Bomb sticking with the Vikings.
I'm going to go with the Steelers here.
All righty. That's September 28th. Then we have our Washington Commanders. Listen to me. Our Washington Commanders. Troy get mad when I do that. Yeah, you ain't no Commander fan. Washington Commander versus the Atlanta Falcons. Tom the Bomb's taking the Commanders in this one.
Commanders, and usually I pick against them at this point of the season.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. We don't have to ask. Felix taking the Commanders. Okay, I'm making this pick for him. Then we got the LA Chargers versus the New York Giants. I see another L for the Giants. I'm taking the Chargers. Harbaugh and the Chargers look good.
Can you say it again?
I said I'm taking the Chargers. They look good over the G-men.
Yeah, Chargers.
Felix taking the Chargers also. Then we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Houston Texans. Woo, man. Woo, man. I'm going to take the Titans in this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I'm actually going with the Texans.
Okay, all righty. We got to be different. All righty. Now, this is the game that, okay, right off the bat, I'm the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, they've got some serious injuries. Mike Evans has a hamstring. If Mike Evans was healthy, I would take the Buccaneers in this one. But this rookie out of Ohio State, I can't even say his name right. But this guy is the truth, man. And I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles because until the Philadelphia Eagles are a year or two ago, the Mother Wigs Kansas City Chiefs. Until somebody beats the Eagles, you kind of have to take the Eagles. So I'm taking the Eagles over the Buccaneers, but I'm not going to be shocked, not one bit, if this is the game that the Eagles lose. Because let me tell you, the last two times they've played, the Buccaneers have beat the Eagles. And let me say this: the Buccaneers are not afraid of the Eagles, and that's important. They're the Super Bowl champs. The Buccaneers are going to be up for this game. I'm taking the Eagles, but I am not going to be shocked at all if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game. But I'm taking the Eagles officially. Who do you like, Felix?
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. That's a good pick, man. I want to take them bad, but I just can't. I can't do it. It's suicide, Benny. Don't do it. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers versus the New England Patriots. And we just saw the Panthers put up 30 points. And I don't believe that, man.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I was really disappointed in the Patriots last week, but I'm going to take the Patriots again this week. I think Mike Vrabel is going to dog his boys out this week in practice, and I'm taking the Patriots. Who do you like?
I'm actually going with the Patriots. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Our next game is the New Orleans Saints versus the Buffalo Bills. I'm going with Bills Mafia. That's the easy one.
You said Bills.
Bills. Yeah. I'm taking the Buffalo. The Saints versus the Bills. I'm taking the Bills.
Oh, Bills, easy.
Okay. Then we got the Cleveland Browns versus the Detroit Lions. Tom the Bomb's taking the Lions simply because, and I know how good the Cleveland Browns defense is, but the Lions are going to score some points, and the Browns got to show me that they can score more than 13 or 14 points, and that seems to be the issue. So I'm going to take the Lions in this one. Who do you like?
Lions.
Okay. Then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus my San Francisco 49ers. We're a first aid team. I'm still going with the Niners over the Jags.
I think the Jaguars might surprise you guys. I don't know.
Okay. Are you taking the Jags? I didn't need you to say that.
Jaguars.
Okay. Felix is taking the Jags. All righty. This next game, I think, is going to be the best game of the week. I got the Indianapolis Colts versus the Los Angeles Rams. And Tom the Bomb is taking the Colts. I'm going with Indiana Jones.
Difficult one, but I'm actually going to go with the Rams.
All righty. Okay. All right. I can't beat you if we pick all the same games. Then we got the Chicago Bears versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm going to surprise you. I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders in this game.
Raiders and
the Bears.
Raiders, Bears. You're taking the Raiders over the Bears.
I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm taking James' Las Vegas Raiders over Gus's Chicago Bears. Who do you like, Felix?
I'm going to go with the Raiders. That's a smart pick.
Okay, all righty. You're not the best side man in the business for nothing. The next game is the smoke. We got the Baltimore Ravens versus Mother Wiggs Kansas City Chiefs. I'm taking the Ravens, man. I think the Chiefs might be in a little trouble.
Yeah, Ravens easy.
Okay, Ravens easy. And then the Sunday night game, the game that I can't wait. Micah comes back to Dallas to take on Donald Trump's Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys, Sunday at 8:20 p.m. Tom and Bomb's taking the Packers and Micah coming back to Dallas. Who do you like, Felix?
The Cowboys. You're kidding. The Packers. You know I'm picking the Packers.
I gotta ask, man. I didn't have to ask about the Commanders. I knew you was taking that. We got 2 Monday night games coming up next week. We got the Jets versus the Dolphins, which is going to be a dogfight, but I'm taking the Jets. And then we got the Bengals versus the Broncos. The Jets and the Dolphins play at 7:15 p.m. And then the Bengals take on the Broncos at 8:15 p.m. Tom the Bomb is taking the Broncos over the Bengals and the Jets over the Dolphins. Who do you like?
The exact same two, Broncos and Jets.
Exact same too. Not the best side man in the business for nothing. Hey gang, we didn't have our trivia question, but we did have a poll question. We didn't get a chance to talk about this, Felix. On your poll question, who do you like at the American League MVP, Aaron Judge or Cal the Big Dumper Riley? Who do you like? Tell me why.
I would say this: it just comes down to whose stats are better. Period. I mean,
Well,
I'm not even.
Aaron Judge has triple crown stats. You know, he's got triple crown stats. He's batting over 320. He's got, he got injured, so he doesn't have as many home runs. He's got like 45 dingers, the RBIs. He's got triple crown numbers. But the Big Dumper is having a career year, could possibly break Aaron Judge's American League record of 62 homers. Uh, who do you like? Who do you like as the MVP in the American League?
That's the thing. Objectively speaking, I got to go with Judge. I mean, I'd say Big Dumper. He's exceeded expectations, so that looks better. But overall, I'd say if I'm picking from objectivity, I'm going Judge.
Well, I'm going to take the Big Dumper, and I'll tell you why. The Big Dumper is a catcher, and you know how difficult it is for a catcher to go through the whole seasons, the beatings. The equipment that the catcher calls, they call them the tools of ignorance, and so the catchers take quite a beating behind the plate as a catcher, and it's one of the reasons you don't really expect great offensive numbers from your catcher. The catcher always primarily is a defensive position first, and if he can hit, then that's a bonus. So for him to be putting the numbers up that he's putting and being the defensive catcher that he is, I think it could be. I don't think I know. It's the greatest season of a catcher maybe in the history of baseball. And I don't think you can really ignore that. Uh, I'll tell you, give you a good example. Last year, you and I and everybody else knows that Lamar Jackson should have won his third MVP, but they gave it to Josh Allen because Josh Allen stepped up. He did something great. I think that Cal, the Big Dumper Riley, is Josh Allen this year. And even though Aaron Judge probably should win, because like I said, his numbers are like triple crown like numbers, I think they're going to give it to the Big Dumper, and I'm okay with that. Lamar Jackson was the MVP, but you can't be mad with Josh Allen winning it last year. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going with the Big Dumper for that reason. All righty, gang. That's our show for today. Man. We thank you for joining us. We want to thank our guest, Felix. You the man, Felix.
Right.
Hey, gang, don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube and hit that like bell, please. If you're enjoying the content and you'd like to bless our ministry, you can do that. You can sow into the ministry, Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, by cash apping us at hashtag $, Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. That's $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. You can also email us at info@tomthebombsports.com. Don't worry, this is going to come up at the end. If you want to write it down, it'll come up on the screen at the end. Hey, gang, for a dynamic and in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Dance on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WBGR with my main man, Mr. Felix Bazzi. His future's so bright, he got to wear shades. Hey, man, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. We don't take that for granted. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour out an abundance of blessings down on you that there won't be room enough to contain it as you live off the overflow and step boldly into the realm of grace. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the third day, not a Thursday, just for you. He would leave the 99 just to come and find you. Hey, gang, Tom Bomb wants to leave you with a thought. Duct tape may patch a lot of things, but 3 nails fixed it all. 3 nails fix everything. Boy, he's worthy to be praised. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Listen, God bless you guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll be here. We'll see you guys next week on this same channel, on this same bat station, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Pacific. You guys have a good weekend. Felix, thanks a lot, bro. Appreciate you.
Of course.
Enjoy the game tonight. The Lions and Ravens. Get your popcorn ready. Tom the Bomb and Felix out.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
Well, I'm coming out with a word in my mouth, filled with excitement to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in, let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times, look again, cause the miracles of mine stir the water. I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda, let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to its revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose I have to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life. Cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take root. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind. Ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light, and I give